All right, we got a controversial one today. Buckle up, baby. Okay, so this one was sent in on Instagram from my main channel. If you're new here, welcome. Okay, we just might learn something today. So this is basically how there's basically a whole generation now that's going to be raised by their grandparents. I know, because the younger generation, people my age, 35 and younger, can't seem to take care of themselves, yet alone their own kids. So they're just pawning them off to the grandparents. I know, it's a vicious cycle. It's a good and a bad thing. Let's break this down. This one was sent in. My grandmother got sober a few days after I was born. He's 37 now. And she raised me. Without her, I would be dead without a doubt. Anyways, he talks about recovery and all that. Anyways, his grandmother's starting to develop Alzheimer's, so it's going to be tough, but she took care of him. Now it's time for him to take care of her. So in other words, she wiped his ass. Now it's his time to wipe her ass. Okay, now, this is just something that I have noticed. Okay, I do not have kids, all right? I took care of my father too. He had dementia. I had older parents. So it's sad to say that, and my mother's passed away. Rest in peace, Mom. I miss you. So I couldn't even pawn my future children off to my parents if I wanted to. Well, fortunately for me, I know what it's like to take care of somebody, nor would I ever do that anyways. Now, from what I've noticed, a lot of people, don't take this personally, okay? This is just what I've seen in real life, not just the internet or the TV. But a lot of people in their 20s, even their early 30s, are having kids. And generally, they don't stay with the baby daddy. That's why it's called a baby daddy. Okay, cool. And they don't even care. They just pawn the kids off to the grandparents. All right? And this is, I guess it's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing. It's a bad thing because, one, the grandparents are meant to teach, values and morals. That's what my grandparents did to me. But it's such a far disconnect from how the world works now versus their time. So basically, the values and morals, super important. Awesome. That kid's probably going to be hopefully well-mannered, well-spoken, have a grasp on those things. But how do you learn from somebody who's so detached from how society works? You see what I'm saying? And this isn't anything new. And this is what I mean by it's a vicious cycle. So my first ever girlfriend, I'm not going to say her name. I call her Frank now. She's just a dude to me. But we're still in contact once in a while. Every couple of years I talk to her. But when I dated her when I was 16 to 18, her grandparents raised her. Because her parents were too busy fucking off down the street. They lived right down the street. Couldn't take care of their own kid. The grandparents had to take care of her. And you know what's happening now with her 4 kids? The grandparents are taking care of them too. So this cycle has already been going on for a long time. But now it's escalating to a point where it's almost kind of pathetic. It really is. It's kind of fucked up. So put it this way. See how that gentleman said, I'm going to make sure I take care of my grandmother? It shouldn't be the grandkid's responsibility to do that. His own parents couldn't take, I don't know if his parents passed away, whatever. Let's just say they're still alive. All right? So this is just a cycle that's going to keep going on. And it's a cycle of selfishness. I couldn't fathom having kids and just pawning them off to my fucking parents. Just all the time. 5 days at a time. Not even living in the house. To the point where the kids are calling grandma and grandpa mom and dad. And you as the mother or the father are basically just like their brother or their uncle or aunt. Basically what I'm trying to say is a bunch of irresponsible people are having sex and having kids, and all of the responsible people can't seem to do that because it doesn't make sense. Do you expect me to just go fuck some chick and have a kid just for the vanity of having a kid? Knowing we're not going to work out? Or knowing that she might be a bad mother? Or I might be an asshole father? Does anybody in this car Anybody out here, guys, anybody out there think I'm going nuts? It honestly breaks my heart. And I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad at all. Fucking fuck it. Let them be raised by their grandparents. There'll be such a disconnect. Honestly, they're going to have probably better values and morals. That's a good thing. I'm not taking that away from anyone. But, I mean, think about it this way. How many of you out there in your early 30s, mid-20s, or early 20s, how many of your parents are fucking disconnected? They can't see that regular jobs and all these, oh, get a 9-to-5 with a pension. That doesn't fucking exist. Get a 401k. That ain't going to do shit for you. Oh, just get a good, decent job, a safe job. Those don't fucking exist. And that's from your parents. Imagine being raised by your grandparents. And I'm not saying older people are so disconnected, but when you're retired or you're 75 and you haven't had to work or your job, it's not, the world is so fucking backwards now that how are we supposed to raise young people if that's how far gone we are? That's how disconnected we are from society. I hope I'm making sense here. Where's the cookies, Grandma? Anyways, you guys leave your thoughts. At least there's somebody taking care of the kids. Because what's going to happen? How is this cycle going to continue? It can't keep continuing. You see what I'm saying? That's what we're going to end on. When these grandparents finally die off, and those people that have pawned their kids off to the grandparents, where are they going to pawn their kids off to? You couldn't even raise your own children. So how are your grandkids, how are you going to take care of your grandkids if your shit kids can't take care of them when you didn't even take care of your kids? I'm sorry, there's a peacock out front of my car right now. It's very loud. Does that make sense? So the cycle can't possibly continue is what I'm saying. And I'm totally stoked about it. This is like a fucking TV show. The movie Idiocracy, if you haven't watched that, go ahead and watch that. We're going to end on that note. You leave your thoughts. You want to be featured on the channel, hit me up on Instagram or even on the comment section here. God, hell of a talk, you know. I'm going to be the best grandpa ever.